Hey, it's Michael Douglas. Welcome back to Dr. Pundit, where we talk about music, not medicine. And it feels like this is kind of a personal kind of issue for me. It's a musical musing, and it has to do with Prince and a documentary that perhaps was never meant to be. Of course, I'm not the only person out here who misses the genius of Prince, who's from right here in Minnesota. I live in St. Paul, but he grew up in Minneapolis, and everything about him feels as though we Minnesotans, would like to claim him as our native son, which he is. And when I see stories like this, it makes me sad. I can see the both sides of this issue. But still, as a Prince fan, and I'm just one of millions, multi-millions, who is able to tell the difference between slander and truth, the fact that we may be deprived of such a career-spanning documentary, I really have mixed feelings about. And a lot of you may have heard the story that broke on Friday, the 7th of February, 2025, about a 9-hour documentary that was supposed to premiere on Netflix about the musical icon. I'm not sure what the breadth of the subject matter was, but it was pretty extensive, only to be squelched by Netflix at the last minute at the request of Prince's estate because of its content. For nearly 5 decades, Prince has shared his love for music, fashion, and art with the world. And having released numerous studio albums and appeared in films like Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon, the singer was definitely in a league of his own. Embracing genres like jazz, rock, funk, soul, hip-hop, the singer sold more than 100 million records in his lifetime and landed a spot, of course, quite deservedly so, in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And with such a lavish career on and off the stage, the director behind the documentary, O.J. Made in America, a guy named Ezra Edelman, hoped to make a documentary about the star. And while in the works, it appears that the project has now been canceled. Although a documentary about the life and career of Prince seemed like a good idea, some might even say great, Edelman wanted to show a different side of the singer. And while touching on his stardom, the documentary supposedly included a lot of major details about his past, romantic partners. And apparently, some accused the singer of being both physical and emotionally abusive to them. Now, the New York Times had a piece on this issue within the past 48 hours, and they described the documentary as, quote, a cursed masterpiece that the public may never be allowed to see. It painted the icon as a, quote, creature of pure sex and mischief and silky ambiguity who was also dark, vindictive, and sad. This artist who liberated so many could be pathologically controlled and controlling. Now, that's a lot there, and I agree with that. But in order to get a complete picture of an artist, of an icon, who's to say that this should be censored in any way? I'm the kind of person who loves music, as you all know, and I can definitely compartmentalize the music from the artist. Case in point, Michael Jackson. Now, do I think he was a pedophile and did abuse his accusers? Well, I guess whatever. He was found not guilty, but I think even if he were found guilty, I'd still be listening to his music because the music is what matters. But I get it. A lot of people wrap up everybody, the music, the artist, the ethos, in one big package. And apparently that was a little bit too much for the Prince estate. Now, noting the film could be, quote, uncomfortable to watch, the problems surrounding it came from Edelman. And while speaking with Netflix, the director needed to bring at least 6 hours of material to be reviewed by the company. And when the day arrived, he brought more than that, about a third more, 9 hours. Now, although bringing more than enough content, Edelman was breaching his contract. This allowed the Prince estate to refuse the film to use his music, and that's exactly what they did. Again, I think that's tragic. I really don't care what anyone says about Prince. I love his music, and I think at the end of the day, that's what matters. And yes, would I have watched this documentary? Of course I would have. It would just have given me another flavor of the artist. Of course, his music is obviously integral to any project, and the fact that, his estate is squelching its use basically renders this project, yes, dead in the water. And while having spent over 4 years on the project, it appears that fans will never see what Edelman was working on. And with a great deal of dedication put into the project, of course, the director reportedly was devastated. Again, artists nowadays, we have much more access than we ever thought we could have had, even 35 years ago. And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Does it often help both sides of the equation, the fans, the artists, and pop culture all together? Well, that's too weighty a question for me to handle here on this episode of the channel, but it's something to think about. And it, again, something that I certainly would have watched that I'll never get the chance to do so. And maybe this may inspire other creators to paint a picture of the artists that mean a lot to them, even though there may be uncomfortable aspects to their lives, and doing it in a way that's, of course, legal and not subject to technical loopholes as they were in this case. I'm Michael Douglas, and if you like what you see here on Dr. Pundit, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And as the late, great Barry White always used to say, and I'm looking for his comprehensive documentary, please, let the music play, and I'll see you on the next episode.